So the reason we got a block of 4 games is because the game that we are playing is split into 4 games. As most the Lightspan games are. Most Lightspan games are split into multiple versions. And so here we have 16 Tales. I imagine we will be watching 16 Tales, and then that'll be it. But we'll see. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's less. But that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start the timer off of the PlayStation intro, since it loads right in. It doesn't load into a start screen. So I'll hit the timers when it says 16 Tales. All right, 16 Tales. Boom. We got it started. Oh, it looks like there may only be four Tales. Oh, 16 complete Tales. Okay. So I'm gonna turn up the audio since it's the focus of this. Ugh.
Today's story is about an angry, spiteful moon. It is from the Tlingit Indians of Alaska.
Ooh.
The moon plays an important part in the lives of the Tlingits because most of their food comes from the sea. The moon was considered to
There's
be
so
a
many
powerful
pixels on
god
this video.
reckoned with.
Like the resolution
The
is
Tlingits
terrible.
have a very rich culture and a strong imagination. In today's story, look for the many beautiful examples of Tlingit design. You will notice the symbol of an eagle perched on the bow of a boat, on the totems, and on the grandmother's house.
Okay, you guys ready to
This
notice the
design is
eagles?
based on an old Tlingit legend of Eagle Woman who turned herself into an eagle in order to save her children. The design on grandmother's dress is from a spoon, because you see, the Tlingits made beautiful incised spoons out of animal horn. And you will see faces which look like ceremonial masks.
I think someone asked at some
In many
point
Indian legends,
why I had
people
colored
are
the
transformed
Lightspan games a
into
different
animals
shade
and other beings
in the
in
wheel.
order to
And the
accomplish
reason
their
I did that
goals.
was because I basically
The masks worn
colored all
in
the games that were
ceremonies which
just
depict these
videos
tales are called
for my own personal
transformation
reference.
masks. Look for the moon crest on the moon's house and a whale design on the blankets. In fact, be sure to watch very closely. You'll see designs representing the Northwest Coast Indians throughout the entire story. But apart from the designs, the angry moon may be similar to other stories. Stories that you've heard before.
Okay. Let's
Tell
see
me
if
if it
it's
is.
let's see if the
It's
angry
now
moon is
time
similar
to
to any
listen
stories
to
we know.
The Tale of the Angry Moon.
I feel like Miss Rachel right now. Okay, children, let's sit and watch this wonderful tale
One
of.
very bright summer night, when the moon was full, Lupin and La Puenza were walking in the grassy country that surrounded their village. They were good.
It's really sad though, cause like the border is not like
The moon was
the resolution of
full
the
and
game is
especially
fine. It's the
bright.
FMV that's
It almost
crap.
seemed to be watching them. La Puenza laughed and said, "What a funny face the moon has. How ugly it is." "Be quiet," said Lupin. "It is not good to speak badly about the moon." Suddenly, the field was covered in darkness, and a a strange, shimmering rainbow appeared from out of the shadows and surrounded La Puenza. She was frightened and cried out for Lupin. He stepped toward her, and the rainbow disappeared, and the darkness disappeared, and La Puenza disappeared.
No, not La
All
Puenza.
alone in the bright moonlight. He called and called, but there was no La Puenza. He ran to the top of a hill and cried. The moon has taken her, he thought.
Why would he do that?
As his tears dried, he looked up at the sky and saw a brilliant star right beside the moon. A strange idea came into his mind. I wonder if I can hit the star. He took out his bow and arrow.
He seems like a jerk.
Aiming very carefully at the star, shot at the star. The star disappeared. Strangely, his arrow did not come back. Again and again Lupin shot his arrows towards the empty space where the star had been. The arrows never returned.
Like they
Lupin
didn't
had been shooting
fall back
arrows
down to the
all
ground, or
night.
they're not boomerangs.
And with the first rays of the morning sun, the line of arrows turned into a ladder leading up to the sky. Without knowing why, Lupin picked some branches from a nearby bush and put them in his hair.
Without
And
knowing
he
why.
began to
That's the
climb the
worst
ladder
writing
up
you
into
could
the sky.
possibly do.
He was afraid.
I'm not gonna give there any reason.
Powerful winds made the ladder spin around. A sudden rainstorm poured down on him, and the ladder became wet and slippery. He hung on tightly and did not fall. He was still climbing the ladder when night came. Lupin wrapped himself about the ladder and fell asleep. The sunrise of another day shone on Lupin. He had never seen the sun so bright.
What's up?
The heaviness of his head made him reach up to touch it. He put his hand up to find that the branches in his hair had grown into bushes full of big, sweet berries. He was amazed, but he was also very hungry. So he ate the berries and threw away the branches.
No, they do need to make
All day
sense.
long, he
Otherwise, you
climbed
get kids
above
who are
the
dumb.
clouds.
Because they just believe
At
anything.
nightfall,
You gotta have some logic
he reached
behind
the
this stuff.
top of the ladder. He was very tired. So he lay down and fell asleep. He was awakened by a small voice. Wake up! I am coming for you. Wake up! My grandmother wishes me to bring you to her. She has been watching
I'm not seeing
you
any
climb
eagles,
here
but I
from
think that's
Earth."
because the pixelation is just too
Lupin
bad.
was very surprised. There was a small boy looking at him.
Yeah.
And so, Lupin followed the boy over the sky road to the grandmother's house. She was glad to see Lupin and welcomed him. They sat around the fire. The grandmother said, "It is I who helped you on your way to this country. I could tell you were brave.
I was gonna
and
say,
had
close.
great need to come up to the
Although
sky.
plenty of people have called him Mambo.
I have come to find
I'm
La
like, I didn't
Puenza."
name him after a candy or a dance.
"Yes," said the
I
grandmother.
named him after I named him after
"She has
Kobe
been
Bryant and his daughter.
captured by the moon, who lives near here." They could hear La Puenza's voice wailing in the distance. Lupin wanted to go to her, but the old grandmother told him to eat first, to regain his strength. She raised her hand 3 times.
Well, I mean,
and
yeah,
each
that's
time,
that's
food appeared.
essentially where it comes
First,
from. But
a
because
fish appeared.
Gianna
Then
and
toasted
Kobe
ear
were the
pork.
Black Mamba and the
She raised
Mambasita,
her hand a 3rd time.
I thought, you know,
And fresh
that is
fruit
that is
appeared.
that is the reason for
Lupin
his
ate
name. I could care
hungrily
less that it's a
and
snake.
felt refreshed. Now, when you go to the house of the moon, you must take 4 things. The grandmother gave him a pine cone
Couldn't
and
care
a
less.
fisheye. Then a rose
Let me amend that.
and a small stone. He was to use these to help him rescue La Puenza. Lupin hurried into the land of the moon. The closer
The door's
he
open,
came
so
to
he
the
can come
moon's house,
freely.
the
I'm
louder
not
La
dealing with the
Puenza's
cat.
cries
He's
became,
been up on my
and
ass
he
all
began
day.
to run. Now he could see her up on the roof.
Oh, I
caught
know.
in
He's
the
trying to
smoke
get into
hole,
one of the other
with
rooms
the fire
because
licking at
that's
her
where he was
heels.
watching the
He
squirrels.
quietly ran to the roof so that the moon could not hear him. La Puenza was so happy to see him, she stopped crying. "Don't stop crying," Lupin whispered. "Cry louder. I don't want the moon to know that you are getting away."
Mamba,
So she
stop.
cried louder as Lupin pulled her from the smoke hole. He put the pine cone in the smoke hole, and it made a crying sound, just like La Puenza. Hand in
Why would you
hand,
put a
they
pine
started
cone
to
in?
run. Then the pine cone stopped crying, and the moon became very angry. He had been tricked. He thundered out of his house, speeding after La Puenza and Lupin. He rolled much faster than they could run. Lupin turned and threw the fisheye at him. And where it fell...
I was dealing with Mamba, so where'd he get this
lake.
fisheye?
The moon was going so fast, he could not stop and rolled into the lake. He was wet and cold as he rolled out of the lake. He had to roll around the lake, but he was fast. He quickly caught up to Lupin and La Puenza. Lupin threw the rose at the moon, and he became tangled in roses and thorns. As he came through
That's
them,
not
he
the
was
rose he
very
had.
angry. He rolled even faster. When
And
Lupin
if this
saw the
grandmother
moon
had
behind him,
magic, why wouldn't she
threw
just
the
get
stone
La
at the moon,
Puenza?
and a
Why has it
huge
gotta be this big
mountain.
ordeal?
It was too high for the moon to climb. It just rolled up and down again. Tired and breathless, Lupin and La Puenza finally reached the grandmother's
My
house.
pets come up into my lap.
They
I
were
don't know
welcomed
what to
by
tell
the
you, bud.
grandmother and the child. And they rested. Then the grandmother said, "Your ladder is waiting for you. You may return to your home on Earth if you wish." They said goodbye and started to climb down the ladder, down through the thick puffy clouds. As they reached the Earth, the sun was setting. The rays of the sun touched the ladder, and it disappeared, leaving a pile of arrows on the ground.
Ooh,
The
it's like a
children
pumpkin.
and put them in their quiver.
Might as well be
Then
Cinderella.
they joyfully ran home. The people of the village were very happy to see them. And for the rest of their lives, people came from far and near to hear their story about the angry moon. The story
If
is
I
still
traveled
told
far and
in the
near
village.
to hear that story, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, you better have a better story.
Did this story remind you of other stories you've heard before? I'll bet it did. The angry moon may have reminded you of Hansel and Gretel. You see, stories from all over the world can be very
Was
similar.
that open to interpretation, or were you
American
trying to
Indian
get me to
tribes,
say Hansel and
The
Gretel?
storytellers
Because I said
were considered
Cinderella.
very important people, because all of the stories have such deep meanings.
Right,
The
Cedric?
Indians respected
Tell a
the
better story.
storytellers and loved them. Look for Tlingit and other stories of the Northwest Coast Indians. You can find them in your school or public library.
No.
Share a story with a friend.
Like,
So
I'm
our
sorry,
tales
but you
will
have given me a
never
bad
end.
impression of Northwest Indian stories. Like, I'm sure they're better stories than that, but I don't care. I'm not going to seek them out because the one that I have experienced is not good. I'm sorry to any Pacific Northwest Indians or Native Americans that may be offended, but I'm sorry. If you have a good story about your people, send it my way. I'll definitely say take a look. And yeah, that's why I was trying to mess with this. So that, like my ring light bounces off of my glasses. So it's just like. Yeah. I'm also just staring at a screen, so the reflection in my glasses is doubly awful. I wish that was credits for like the whole thing, but I know it's not. I can't even tell what school district. It's Los Angeles Unified. Well, I'm glad I'm glad I grew up in Chicago and not Los Angeles then, because if I had actually had to use this learning device in school, I might have never touched a PS1 again.
The preceding program was funded in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
All right, the Coyote and the Cottontail, or the Coyote and the Beaver People. Is it gonna be the same lady the entire time? Because, like, the lady is kind of the thing that's pissing me off. So, like, if it's not the same lady, this might be a decent story. Oh no, we're getting two stories. This isn't I thought this was a different name for one story. But no, we're getting two stories. Is Ginny Tyler the lady we don't like? Yeah, she is.
Navajo Indians are from the southwestern part of the United States.
Okay,
Mainly
so we're the
Arizona
Navajo are
and
gonna
New
try and tell a
Mexico.
story.
They are excellent farmers and
Their fry
artists,
bread's good.
well known for their
Maybe their
turquoise
stories will
and
be better
silver
than.
jewelry and for their weaving. The beauty of their rugs is known
Did you
all
just
over
not
the
mention
world.
fry bread?
Our
Lady,
first story
Navajo
is a
fry bread is
Navajo
like the
legend
bomb.
about our good friend Coyote. Trotting Coyote, as he is called by the Navajo, is used as an example of how not to be. He tries to cheat and trick, and always loses in the end.
Sounds like he's Eddie Guerrero.
In our second legend,
He
we
lies,
will
he
see
cheats,
what
he
happens to
steals.
Coyote when he meets the Beaver people. Listen now to the tales of Coyote and Cottontail and Coyote and the Beaver people.
Beaver people.
One day, Trotting
I
Coyote
don't-
was sitting on a riverbank.
I'm worried
He was
about that
very
story.
hungry and sad because he had not eaten all day. He had not caught a single cottontail or even a tiny mouse. All of a sudden, a cottontail jumped from the bushes where he was hiding and kicked up a great cloud of sand
Maybe?
right in Coyote's face. Coyote ran after the cottontail thinking, what a delicious
God,
dinner
I'm guessing
that
you've probably sat
cottontail will
through
make."
either BPN
Coyote
or
was much
Sting
faster
while
than
they have
Cottontail
gone through
and
this.
easily caught him.
Or both.
Just as he was about to take a bite
I don't know,
out
has
of the
Elmaster
rabbit,
done this one
the
yet?
rabbit said, "Stop! Don't eat me!" Coyote was so surprised, he almost dropped the rabbit. "Rabbits don't talk," he thought. "What a strange
Coyote,
rabbit."
you talk.
First he jumped from a bush where he
Are
could
you-
have hidden.
That's the
and
crux
now
of the
he's
story?
talking.
The
Coyote
rabbit
decided to hear
talks?
what the rabbit had to say.
The talking coyote
You'll
is
be
worried that the
sorry
rabbit
if
talks.
You eat me.
Said the cottontail.
Am I getting that right?
I have no meat on my bones. Why be in such a hurry? I can't escape from you. You are much too big and strong. I'd like to talk to you for a while, but you are
Why is his tongue
squeezing
hanging out
me
like that?
too
Looks
hard.
like he's drunk.
What do you want to talk about?
Said Coyote as he stopped squeezing a little. The cottontail thought fast. He was trying to think of a way to escape.
Let's talk about people. I know all about people. I know much more about people than you do, said Coyote, and he squeezed a little harder. The Cottontail said, you think you know so much about people? Why, I'll bet you think they carry their weapons on their backs.
Your school had these?
Coyote
No.
said, "That's
Wait, your school
right,
had light
on
span?
their backs.
Gow.
And I'll bet you always
cut a
stay
dish.
as far away from people as you can.
How the hell did you wind up with a
You
light
never
span?
really see their weapons. That's why you are wrong.
Like, what did you
I
use
see
them for?
Carry their weapons in their hands.
Cottontail was trying to keep Coyote's mind off his empty stomach. Coyote was squeezing him tight.
Oh, I mean, I guess this could just be like,
Cottontail
like
said,
they did just rip this
Stop
from
squeezing me so hard, cousin. You have me. and I
substitute
can't
teachers.
escape.
Yeah.
Let's talk for a little while longer. Then you may eat me.
Coyote said,
I'll let you talk more about people and their weapons, but make your story very
Makes
short.
sense.
Coyote was very annoyed. Cottontail was trying not to show how scared he was. He sure didn't want to be eaten,
Well, cousin,
said Cottontail.
what they do is carry a bow and arrow. They hold the bow up, put the arrow at the bowstring, and pull it as hard as they can. And then the arrow flies to its mark.
Coyote said,
No, that's not the way it is. They carry the bow and arrows on their backs, and they shoot from
Yeah,
over
our
their
subs just
shoulders.
followed the lesson plan.
Phil thought to himself.
Here's my chance
You got
to
some
escape.
like busted ass subs.
Stop holding me so tightly, and I will show you how it's done.
Coyote loosened his grip as Cottontail raised his arms. Then Cottontail jumped to the ground and ran away as fast as he could. Coyote chased the rabbit in and out of the bushes, but he never quite caught him. Then Cottontail
Hey, it looks like my yard
right into
outside-ish
Coyote's mouth.
area.
While Coyote was trying
I
to
do live
spit out the
near the
yucca
Navajo, so that makes sense.
Cottontail ran into a small cave in the rocks. Coyote couldn't go in after Cottontail because he was too big, so he pretended he wanted to talk. Cottontail said,
I know you don't really want to talk. You want to eat me.
Coyote said,
If you don't come out, I'm going to smoke you out with cedar bark or sagebrush.
Does that shit get you high?
Cottontail said,
Oh, good.
Because I mean, like, go for it,
Cedar
bro.
bark and sagebrush are my favorite foods.
Oh damn. Yeah, you
Then I'll
can't
get some
just lesson
pinion
plan a whole.
pitch.
But
That
that's
will
like 5
fix
weeks of
you.
not. That's at that point you have
Cottontail
someone
pretended to be
who
afraid.
teaches the same subject step
Coyote
in
piled some rocks
and
in
like
front of the
set up a
small
lesson plan.
Then he went to get the pitch. Soon he returned and made a fire and placed the pitch
Well,
on
Cedric,
it.
I had a
Cottontail
chemistry teacher
pretended
that
to
like
cry.
consistently set off the fire
Please
alarm.
don't blow the smoke
One of
on
the best
me.
things we ever did in
I
that
won't
class
be
was
able
go
to
to the
read.
swimming pool and throw a
Coyote
chunk of
blew the
sodium
smoke
into
the
it.
crack where the rocks were. Cottontail
If you don't know what
pretended to
sodium does in water, especially with chlorine,
but he wasn't getting any
the
of the
fuck?
smoke
Like,
because
why are we throwing
Coyote was
sodium in the
blowing
pool?
it into the rocks.
not salt,
said,
sodium,
Blow
the
hard,
metal.
so it will be all over.
He was awesome.
Got as close
Like
to
he
the
was
fire as
like
he
the
could.
best chemistry teacher,
blue.
but he was crazy.
And blue. He could just taste that rabbit.
Yes, Gal. However, that's
Cottontail
chlorine
pushed the
gas.
hot rocks
What we're talking about
fell
is
into the
chlorine
fire,
dissolved in the pool,
and
and sodium
Coyote's
in
face.
water does not necessarily
Jumped
make
past
salt.
Coyote and escaped. It took Coyote a long time to get the smoke and dirt
Well,
from his face.
So
didn't
for
clean
the
his
classes,
face
he
very
would just
well.
like he shaved a little
He
bit
was
of the
too
sodium
busy
off into a
thinking of the
bucket,
dinner he had lost.
like so it would boom,
That's
but like
why,
not big enough
to
to
this
like do
very
anything.
day,
But then he
the
was like, "Hey,
coyote
let's go
has
down to the
black
pool."
streaks on his face. On another day, Trotting Coyote was
Like, who
sitting
gave
near
you
little
a
pool,
chunk of sodium?
picking
I should be
flowers
paying
and
attention to this
watching some
coyote
other
story,
people
not
playing
talking
the
about my
hoop and
crazy
pole
ass
game.
chemistry
He had
teacher.
not played the hoop and pole game for a long time. Coyote sat down with the beavers and asked them,
I don't even know what happened with the
for
rabbit.
getting the pole through the hoop?"
Now we're on to the
A
beaver people?
answered.
The loser is skinned by the winner.
Coyote was surprised.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be skinned.
The beavers thought they were rid of Coyote. They continued playing. One of them threw the pole through the hoop as it was moving. He was the winner, so he began skinning the loser. The loser jumped into the water as soon as he was skinned, swam around a little, up and down, in and out.
I believe that's
and
called
suddenly
shaved.
grew a new skin. Coyote thought to himself,
Since I have magical powers, I'll bet I could grow a new skin too. I think I'll play with them.
What the
Old
fuck?
Beaver warned Coyote not to play. He told him to go and play his own games. Coyote begged the beavers to let him play. After much begging, the beavers
Hi,
said
Ponty.
yes. They gave Coyote a pole and began rolling the hoop. Coyote threw the pole and won. He didn't know the beaver people.
No, but
had
the
let him
okay,
win
but
on
we're
purpose.
talking about the narrator here, Gal. She
I
says
knew I
skinning.
would win.
The picture depicts a shave.
I don't want to skin anyone, but I will play another game.
If the
old
narrator
beaver said,
isn't
If
able
you
to
lose,
tell the story
you will be
accurately,
skinned, and that can hurt if you're not a beaver. So I think you should stop now.
Coyote said,
I'll just grow a new skin like you beavers do.
they let him play again, and he lost. Coyote suddenly decided that he did not want to be skinned, but it was too late. Coyote
Yeah,
yelled
you lost.
and howled and sure made a lot of noise. His skin was finally peeled from him. Coyote ran for the water as soon as they had him peeled. He swam around a little, up and down, in and out.
okay,
but
so the way that she's
nothing
describing it,
happened.
they really are
He
skinning
got
him.
out of the water and jumped in again. Swam around a little, up and down, and in and out. Still
That's
nothing.
not a scam.
He didn't get a new skin. Seeing how upset he was, the beaver people decided to help him. The old beaver said,
Badger has extra skins in his badger hole. Maybe he will give you one. It won't hurt to ask.
Coyote agreed.
I don't like
Didn't care
anything
what
about
kind
what
of skin
I
he got,
just said.
as long as he got something to cover his skinless body. So they all went over to the badger hole, and Coyote went inside. When he finally came out, he was wearing a badger skin. To this day, the badger and the coyote have the same kind of skin. Storytellers were very important people in all Indian tribes. They were respected for their wisdom, and they were loved. Their stories had such deep
No.
meanings. In fact,
You
all of the
banish them.
customs and beliefs of
Exile
the
those
Indian
people.
had a story or legend behind them.
No storytellers.
There were lessons for everyday living woven into interesting stories. The primary concern of all tribes was to live in
Can we go
harmony
back to when I was
with
talking
their
about my
spirit.
chemistry teacher not
All
being
people
horrified?
Go read and enjoy Legends of the American Indian. You can find them in your school or public library. Share a story with a friend.
Okay, I don't trust
so
this
our
lady.
tales
She has
will
told us
never end.
three really bad stories and attributed them to the Native Americans. I think she's trying to slander an entire people. Like I know, like the original fairy tales are really busted, but like this was released in 1996, man. Like I was like 9 then. Like I would have not been cool with this. And I'm pretty sure that was the age group they were aiming at. Mamba, buddy. Even if your squirrels are over there, they're sleeping. Leave them alone. Yeah, that's the thing. Is that story is horrific because they don't use their words properly. How do you have a story for kids where you're not using words properly? You're teaching them the wrong lessons, man. Oh, you crazy. You in play mode right now.
The preceding program was funded
I
in
didn't
part
I didn't
by a grant
expect to
from the
give myself
Corporation for Public
like
Broadcasting.
emotional damage doing some educational games. Like, this was not up on the docket here. I guess was the Dancing Stars and the Friendly. Okay, these stories don't sound like they could be that bad. The Angry Moon didn't sound bad, but was bad. Like, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't disgusting and horrific like skinning of beavers, but and going into a badger hole. But I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna make this one all twisted. I just wanted some nice stories, and well, to kick back to after dealing with pandemonium, and this is what I get. Okay, the Dancing Stars. That sounds nice. That's everything about that sounded dirty, combo. I don't want to know what skins are being kept in a badger hole. I'm glad I'm not trying to monetize this on YouTube, because this sure as hell would have gotten demonetized just off of that.
All animals and nature, the sky and the earth.
It's not the terrible
creatures
lady.
that walk, crawl, or fly were important to everyday life. They were thought of.
Maybe
and
she's
talked
just
of
terrible.
As though they were real people. Our first story, The Dancing Stars, is an Iroquois legend. To the great Iroquois nation in the northeastern part of the United States,
Okay.
the Great Bear
Off
sang,
to it.
and the moon smiled and talked.
I like this one
Everything was
already.
a creation of the Great Spirit. Our second story, The Friendly Wolf, comes from the Dakotas, where we find the Plains Indians. Their beliefs were the same as their Iroquois cousins. They respected all animals, and they learned to live with them. The Plains Indians are made up of tribes that we've
He
all
has no beard.
The Sioux are Cara, Blackfoot.
If I shave,
Pawnee,
maybe.
The Cree, the Nez Perce, Kiowa, Comanche, Crow, the Ojibwe, the
I mean,
Shoshone,
I would
the
rock that
Arapaho,
vest
and the
though. That's
Ute,
a
and a
sweet
few others.
vest.
They were hunters, depending mostly on the buffalo for their food.
The pattern on that shirt's a
clothing
little
and the covering
much.
for their teepees.
It was very
They
70s.
also hunted elk and antelope and deer. They ate the
This makes me
wild
think these were
fruit of
recorded in
wild
the
life.
80s.
I suppose they're called wild because they were not planted and cultivated by man. They
Because
were
like I said,
planted in the
this was
ground by
released
the
in
Great
96,
Spirit
but
for our use.
this dude's
Now,
outfit is screaming
Imagine yourself sitting around a
1985.
flickering indoor fire in the lodgings of your tribe. It is night, which is the best time for storytelling. The old storyteller is about to begin his stories, and it is cold outside. The soft winter
Yeah, I think
snow.
if the pattern was less busy, it'd
In
be
the distance,
fine.
You can hear the drumming and the singing. You and the others
Especially
together
because the
waiting for
blurriness,
storyteller
that's
to
not
begin.
helping either.
Now listen to the tales of the dancing stars and the friendly wolf.
Okay, he seems happy. He seems pleasant.
Once long ago, when the sky and the stars and the moon and Mother Earth were just beginning, 7 brothers were playing in the forest. They loved to run and dance in the forest, always together, never separated. One evening, just as the sun was going down, the brothers heard someone singing. It was a beautiful, beautiful song coming from some
I don't know.
faraway place.
He's just chilling. He's just
Danced
vibing.
away, following the sound of the music. Suddenly it was night. The little boys looked down and saw the trees in their forest, their people's longhouses, all the things they knew about, glowing in the moonlight far below them. They were in
I thought
the
longhouses
sky,
were mostly in the northwest.
still dancing
not
to
the
the
northeast.
strange and beautiful music.
It's
They
been a
went
while
up
since I've
and
studied
up
the
and
tribes.
up, and the mysterious song grew louder and even more beautiful. They could hear the words clearly now. A hunter pursued me, and I came to the sky, and now I am lost. But I will watch over you in your warm little cave here in the sky. So sleep, little ones, sleep.
Why did the star
Then
turn
they
into
saw
7
a great black bear.
from WCW?
Her belt and necklace were made of shiny white
That's,
clamshells, and her beautiful tail was made of stars. In fact, stars were twinkling at her toes and her nose. It was the great bear who was singing the lullaby.
Okay. A bear
They
could sing. I
danced
can get
long
behind that.
into the night. At last, they stopped, for they wanted to go home. They asked the moon to show them the way. But the moon smiled gently and said, "You will live here in the sky with the stars and I. For we
So the moon
enjoy
abducted
your
them?
dancing." Suddenly the boys
Bro,
no longer felt
I
tired,
just
and
wanted
they
a
no
nice
longer
story.
wished to go home. They started to dance again, and the great bear sang more sweetly than before.
Now they're like dancing
Then a bright,
slaves.
shining star grew around each boy.
They're like, you can't go home. You
The
gotta stay
smallest
here and dance.
Heard a voice calling his name. It was the voice of his mother. The little boy ran toward the voice as fast as his feet would go, and the star around him left a bright, shiny trail. "Don't go, don't go," cried the moon, and the stars, and his brothers. But the little boy would not listen. He fell past the clouds and the trees, reaching for the earth and the sound of his mother's voice. He saw his mother and reached out to take her hand. Then he landed. His mother cried when she saw that instead of her son, there was a hole in the ground made by a falling star. She looked up at the sky and called to her other sons, "Stay there! Do not come down!" She did not want them to become falling stars. The brothers waved to their mother, for they understood, and they danced on. The mother cried, and her tears fell into the hole where the star had fallen. A little sprout began to grow. It grew faster and faster, taller and taller, up into the sky. The little brother was now a tree, reaching high into the sky to be with his brothers again. Finally, it reached the great bear and the dancing brothers. They were very happy to have their littlest brother back with them. To this day, when you walk through a forest, you will see the pine.
These stories do not
It
make
is the
sense on a
tallest
metaphysical
tree
level.
in the forest. And at night,
They don't make
you see
sense
the brothers
in any logical
still
sense.
dancing to the lullaby of the great
Even
bear
as like morality
sings
plays.
to her little
What am I supposed to learn from that? What the fuck is the lesson to be learned?
It happened during berry picking time.
Don't listen to your mother?
This was in the long ago when people and animals lived together and talked to each other. It was the time when the
Don't get
berries were
lured
ripe
by a
and
singing
camps
bear?
were set up near the berry bushes, which grew in the valley. The berries
This
were
dude
eaten
is no
right off
better than the
bush.
lady.
Little Cloud and his little sister, Bright Eyes, ate all the berries their little stomachs could hold. Little Cloud became tired of berry picking and decided to climb the hills near the valley. He took Bright Eyes with him. They climbed higher and higher to where the grizzly bears and bighorn sheep live. Little Cloud wanted to see the place where the eagles lived, way up on top. It began to get dark. Little
Oh,
Cloud
the
was
first
afraid.
eagle I saw, and that lady
He
said there were
knew
going to be a
there
lot
were
of them in the
mountain
first
lions
video.
and wolves in the hills, and the great wolf of the mountains. They looked around for a place to stay. It became darker and colder. Bright Eyes began to cry. Then, as the owls hooted around them, they saw a small cave, so they crawled in and went to sleep. Suddenly, Little Cloud was awakened by the loud thunder and cold wind of a fierce storm. In the opening of the cave, he saw the great wolf of the mountains. He closed his eyes tightly and prayed that the wolf would not harm them. As the storm passed, it became quiet. Little Cloud opened his eyes. No wolf. Bright Eyes was still asleep.
So did he imagine it?
He had been dreaming.
Okay.
When the morning came, Little Cloud woke Bright Eyes, and they left the cave quickly.
I don't think it was a
Little
dream.
Cloud did not tell Bright Eyes of his night visitor, but he knew it wasn't a dream. The tracks in the sand told him so. As the day went on, they became tired and rested near a stream. The water tasted good. Suddenly they saw the great wolf. Remembering that the wolf did not harm them, Little Cloud said, "Please, great wolf of the mountain, we are lost. Help us to return home." The wolf looked kindly at the children. The great wolf reminded Little Cloud of
He's
the
gonna
dogs
eat
at
'em.
camp, with his tongue hanging out and his face smiling. Then the great wolf said, "It was my cave you slept in last night. Have no fear. I will take you home. Stay close to me."
Okay.
The wolf started off and waited whenever the children fell behind. He would run a little and stop, and run a little and stop. He let Bright Eyes ride on his back when she grew
Oh, there's
too tired
there's
to
a
walk.
rainbow. This is a nice
Then he
story.
led them to berry bushes.
I don't want to know how this is going
Sweet
to turn into a
berries so they
twisted ass
wouldn't be
story.
Finally, they reached the top of the hill that they had
Bright
first
Eyes
climbed.
and Cloud, Little
From the
Cloud
hill,
should
they
just
could
get
see their
home,
families
right?
and friends. They were very, very happy. They wanted the wolf to stay with them, but the great wolf refused. He could not go closer to the camp because there were dogs there. Anyway, I would not be happy living in a camp. I am a wanderer. I go with my wolf friends.
He's got a thing against dogs?
He said, "I will always remember you, and you will hear my call in the early night and think of me." As the children
That's like getting
came
help
down
from
to
like
the
a
camp,
racist.
the
You're
men
like,
raced
oh,
on their horses
oh
to
no,
meet
like
them.
thank you for the help,
They
but
picked
like,
them up and
what's wrong
joyfully
with you?
rode into camp.
Like, why are you?
There was much
Why are you
excitement
weird?
and happiness at their return. When the people heard Little Cloud's story of how the wolf had saved them, they went to the top of the hill and thanked him. They brought him beautiful gifts and food. The chiefs sat in a circle and smoked the pipe of peace. It was the sign of friendship forever between the Indians and the wolves. That friendship still lasts.
Okay, that was a good story. We finally had a nice story.
Wherever the Indians traveled, hunted, laughed, or prayed, it was a tribal affair. They were great believers in togetherness, and that togetherness always included the animals. The storytellers were very important people in all tribes. They were respected for their wisdom.
We keep saying that, and I don't think it was
Their
true.
stories had deep meanings, for all of the customs and beliefs of the Indians had a story or a legend behind them. Many of these stories are in your school and public library. Go, read, enjoy the stories of the American Indian, and share a story with a friend, so our tales will never end.
Gal, that better not be what happens in the next story. Because holy shit. No? Please no. I don't know if you're joking. You have given me enough info to believe that you've seen these. And these stories are really messed up. The first three had zero. The first four had zero redeeming qualities. And this last one was like, you know, don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing. Like they could have freaked out by the wolf, but they didn't. I mean, they still like crashed at his pad without asking, so it's kind of a dick move. But generally, that story was happy and positive. And even with them being weird with the dog thing, like the village was like, okay, cool, you don't like the dogs, we'll leave them back there. Here's some gifts, thank you. Smoke the peace pipe. Let's chill. I don't know what the dogs did. They never addressed why he had a problem with the dogs. Just that their existence was not cool. But hey.
The preceding program was funded in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
If the next story says there's a tiger in it, I'm gonna be mad. I wasn't paying attention. The Firebringer and how Sayende brought the buffalo to the Indians. Neither one of those sounds like it could apply to what you said, so I'm going to cautiously advance. I would say not be joking, but with this I really don't care, except that I really don't want to be traumatized by a freaking Lightspan game. That'd be good. Firebringer could go either way. Like, I could see this one going really dark. Is this the... Okay, no, there's an and. Okay. I was like, wait, is this the subtitle? Okay, we got a new person. So we got the lady who can't tell a good story. We got the long-haired dude who is like 50-50. Oh no, it's the same guy.
The Paiute Indians of long ago loved to hear the old legends told.
Okay, I just didn't catch his name the first time then.
The Paiute Indians lived mainly in Utah. According to the Paiutes, it was
Go.
Coyote who taught mankind how to survive.
I'm gonna bite your head off.
Our first story, The Firebringer, we'll see how Coyote taught the Indians about fire. Our second story, a Kiowa legend called How Sayende Brought the Buffalo to the Indians. The Kiowa Indians are Plains Indians. They have lived on the southern plains around Oklahoma and Kansas for as long as time itself. They hunted the buffalo. Sayende, who brought many things to the Kiowa, was responsible.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard vaguely of that.
Sayende brought the buffalo to the Indians.
And okay, that's fine. If you're gonna be horrific, be cautionary, yes.
Long ago in the time
The
of
trauma we're experiencing has no moral or lesson to be learned.
talk to each other and live together. There was an Indian boy called the Firebringer. He was of the Paiute
That seems like bullying.
with shiny dark skin and long black hair. He loved to run with the Coyote, who was the friend and counselor of his people. They would hunt together in the summer. The boy caught fish with his hands, while the women dug delicious roots. In the summer, times were good.
No, I get that, Cedric, but like the stories that like
Not so
the first story, the girl didn't do anything to get abducted by the moon. The moon was just a dick.
This was before the tribes knew about fire. The boy spoke to the coyote.
And then there was the skinning of the coyote and beavers.
How can we help
No,
my people?
no,
They
it's
cannot keep
not just
warm, it
bratty
is cold.
bratty
What
kids.
can we do? The coyote thought, and then he said, "You and I will go to the burning mountain and bring back fire.
I don't remember
It will
that
be
part.
dangerous, but it
But
is
even
the
so,
only way.
kidnapping is like a
Gather
federal
100
crime.
strong men and women who are your
Insulting
best
at
runners."
best is like
The boy went to
third
gather the
degree
roses,
assault.
but they paid no attention to him. They didn't know what fire was. But the boy continued to talk about the fire.
What these stories are teaching
And as the
kids
people
is
got
to respond with not the same amount of energy,
One
but
by one,
instead
they joined
magnitudes more. And I
Soon
don't
he
think
had
that's
his
correct.
100 runners. The coyote explained exactly what was to be done.
Well, I mean, it
First
was
in front
full.
Would be the coyote and the
It's
bull.
not like she called him fat on like
Then
his
the fastest
waning
runners would follow them,
cycle.
and the slowest would be last. They went toward the west, over the high,
I mean, I'm not gonna fat
snow
shame the
covered
moon, but
mountains,
like,
then through dark, windy forests.
see, Gal, that's what I'm saying. Like, this teaching the wrong lessons.
Coyote said to them, "We will rest here. In the morning, one of you will stay here until the fire comes. You will know the fire because it is red like a rose. But it is not a rose. When you see the fire, you will know it."
But what if it's a poinsettia that is red like a rose and also is not a rose?
Leaving one man to wait for the fire. The people wondered if the fire was an animal or an enemy of some kind. Coyote explained, "Fire can be an enemy or a friend. It can hurt, but it can also help and serve us. If it is covered with rocks and sticks,
Okay.
it can be used to warm the people."
See, so here,
The last
things can
runner
be
was
foe
left to
and
wait for the
friend.
fire.
This
Coyote
is an
and the
okay
boy
story so far.
Continued on to the burning mountain. It was very high.
It's when that
with
coyote
smoke
eats
and
them that
fire
it
pouring
becomes
out of its
terrible.
top. At night, the fire spirits danced on the mountaintop. Coyote made himself look thin and weak and unimportant and went up the mountain. The fire spirits saw him, but ignored him because he looked harmless. As the fire spirits began to dance, Coyote stole a burning stick and ran down the mountain. The fire spirits saw him running with a fire and began
Good
to
job,
chase him.
Coyote.
Coyote was tired and breathing hard when the boy took the burning stick from his friend and ran with the fire spirits fast behind
Pass
him.
the baton, hell
The
yeah.
boy ran as fast as he could until he came to the
It's like
runner
the start of
they
a
had left
relay
behind.
race.
This runner took the burning stick and ran on. The stick was passed from runner to runner. The fire spirits chased each runner until they were stopped by the snowy mountain. The swift runners continued through the day and night until they came to the land of the Paiute. They surrounded the fire with rocks and put sticks on it and were warmed by it, just as Coyote had told them. From that time on, the boy was called Firebringer.
Again, seems like
Firebringer
bullying.
was passed on to the Coyote because he had earned the name.
Oh, okay, it's an honorable title.
This very day, Coyote's fur is thin and yellow.
Because they were calling him
As if
Firebringer
burned
because of
along
his skin
his
color and
sides.
hair, right? Like, I
Perhaps
didn't miss
because of
that
the
part.
fire stick he carried in his mouth, whose flames licked
Like, he
his
happened
skin.
to just run the stick back, but, like, beforehand they were calling him Firebringer not because he was able to hold the stick from those fire spirits.
Sayende was coming along.
I feel like
And he saw
we're missing
all the
that
animals
point.
singing and dancing. And he asked them what they were doing. Owl and Dragonfly told him it was a sun dance, to show the sun how much they loved it.
Okay.
Coyote said, "We are having a fine time, but we are hungry. We have no food." Fox said, "We are all getting weak because we have no food."
Oh.
Sayende felt very sorry for the animals. As he watched the dancing, he thought of the white crow. Why is the crow so fat and his feathers so smooth? He must have plenty of food. Where does he get his food?
Yeah,
Nobody knew.
that's a
Now,
good
White
point.
Crow always carried a bow and some arrows in a special case, and he never put it down. Sayende decided the answer to White Crow's food must be in the case. Sayende wondered how he could get the case. Then he thought of a plan. He told Fox and Coyote and Owl and Dragonfly to watch White Crow when he left the dancing grounds.
Why don't you
Find
tell
out
everyone
where he
while
lived.
you're at it?
They agreed.
Just go to White Crow and tell him
Sanday and his
directly.
friends started to flatter White Crow. Why aren't you singing? You have such a beautiful voice. White Crow was very pleased to help the singers. Sanday offered to hold the bow and arrow case for White Crow. As White Crow began singing and drumming, all the animals crowded around him so he couldn't see Sanday. Sanday took the bow and arrows out of the case and laid them down. He reached way into the case and pulled out a piece of meat. Buffalo meat. He thought to himself, I have never tasted anything so delicious. This would be good for the Indians. The singing finished, and
Was
Sanday
it cooked
gave White
buffalo,
Crow
or are
his
you
case.
eating that raw?
As White Crow flew away, Fox and Coyote and Owl and Dragonfly all watched. He flew way up and over the nearby hill. Sanday told his friends he would stay behind and think of some way to find out where the buffalo meat was hidden.
Probably
He
in
hid near a
Buffalo?
bush and changed himself into a little puppy. He wanted White Crow's little daughter to find him. Then the little daughter came walking along and saw the puppy. The puppy began
He turned
licking her
into a
ankles,
puppy.
and she picked him up. She wanted
Why,
to keep
why
him.
is White Crow's daughter a human?
When she took him home, White Crow didn't like him. I
Why
never
is
saw
White Crow a
puppy with
human now?
mustache before. Sanday had forgotten to change his mustache. White Crow's little daughter started to cry. So he agreed she could keep the puppy if she did not take him near the meat. Sanday ate well that night, buffalo scraps. The next day, White Crow and his wife had to leave. He said to his daughter, remember, don't take the puppy near the meat. That is our secret. Then he and his wife left. Soon the little White Crow got tired.
I was
of
under the
playing with
impression that the
puppy.
White Crow was literally a
I'm going to
White
show you
Crow.
our secret place
Up
where we
until
keep our
that
meat.
part,
Sanday
nothing
pretended
had-
he wasn't interested. The
how does
little
this
girl
guy? How
picked
does
him up
Sanday
and
just
took
be
him
able
over
to?
a
I'm a puppy
big,
now.
deep hole that had been covered with a rock. Down in the hole were all the buffaloes in the world. Father buffaloes, mother buffaloes, and baby buffaloes. Indian people should have this food to share. They will never be hungry again. He started barking and jumped down among the buffaloes.
So like White Crow is
The
just like
buffaloes rushed out of the hole into
keeping the
sunshine.
entirety of
They
Buffalo
sounded like thunder as they ran.
in captivity for his own
Crow
food.
heard the thunder and flew back home as fast as he could.
Again, he's
He knew
literally
it
a
was the
crow.
buffaloes. As the last buffalo came up out of the hole, Sanday came out and turned back into himself. He turned to the buffaloes. You will live here in this country, wherever the grass shall grow. To
This
the
shit's getting to
east,
be like
to the
Greek
west,
myths.
To the north and to the south, you will roam. You will be the food for the people of this
Like
country.
there's nothing to be learned from Zeus banging a
The
goose
buffalo listened to Sanday. They wandered and spread out over
or
the
being a
plains
goose to get
where
bit.
they fed and clothed the people.
My brain
That's how the
hurts.
buffalo came to the Indians.
The Indians came to depend on buffalo meat for a large part of their
Yeah,
diet,
they probably should have like
on its skin,
started
clothing,
killing
shelter,
white
and many other
crows
uses. In
for
winter,
for even like
warm
hoarding
skin was
like
used
that.
for robes and blankets. No
But y'all
part of the
know,
buffalo was
oh.
wasted. Without this magnificent animal, the Kiowa, as well as other plains tribes, possibly would have died out. Today you have heard just 2 stories of the American Indian. You can find many more in your school or public library.
They weren't as terrible as the first 3.
Read and enjoy
I
the stories
mean they
of the
weren't
American
nice.
And
Neither
share a
one of
story
those
with
was
a
very
friend.
nice.
So our tales
The
never
burning
end.
the Firebringer was okay. I guess there wasn't very much negativity in that story. But White Crow is a dick. That's all I got from that story. Was that the White Crow should not be given anything because he just hoards and he's a jerk. Well, this has been thoroughly upsetting. I think upsetting is the word. Maybe one of the other discs isn't so terrible. Maybe one of them will be like pleasant. These are children's stories, for fuck's sake. I don't know, man. I could play the Super Solvers right now and I would not experience trauma. I mean, it's a little scary because you're going through you're going through a school or whatever at night, so it's a little spooky, but like, whatever. Super Solvers.
The preceding program was funded in part by a
That's
grant from the
educational.
Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Teaches you math and reading. There we go. Disc 1 done. Jesus Christ. Alright, well, once the credits are done, I'm going to take a 2-minute break and just try and recover. That was awful. I'm gonna give it a 1 for now, but I reserve the right to bump it up if we somehow stumble across a disc that's worse. I'm not gonna give anything a 0, I don't think, but it's like the next one makes me cry. I don't know. That's probably gonna get it a 1, and we'll just bump this one up to 2, but it's a 1. All right, I'll be right back.